Hi everyone, Shai here. I hope all of you are doing good. Welcome to another new video. Being a part of the royal family surely seems fun. You are famous worldwide and rich beyond comprehension. You have magnificent castles and jewels. But being a member of the royal family also comes with very strict protocols and rules to follow. Some of these strongly imposed guidelines are easy to follow, but some are somewhat absurd. From picking the right tiara for the bride to marry to never rejecting the gift, here are some of the strict rules the royal family must follow. Number 1. Royal wedding bouquets must contain the myrtle plant. For every bride, choosing the perfect wedding bouquet can be a colossal task. Everything must be perfect. Color, texture, shape, and seasonality all have to be taken into account. Not to mention that many brides often choose flowers with special meaning to them. Now, myrtle may look like a very simple plant, not one fit for the most powerful royal families in the entire world. But in fact, this unassuming plant is a royal favorite for wedding bouquets and many more important flower arrangements. Midas communis, simply called myrtle, has been a crucial component of the crown's signature aesthetic for a long time. Meghan Markle's wedding bouquet included myrtle from Queen Victoria's own garden. That's right, Queen Elizabeth's great-great-grandmother. This myrtle plant has been tended for over 170 years since she decided to grow a plant from the myrtle used in her own wedding bouquet. Since Queen Victoria, every royal bride has carried myrtle from this same plant. This means that from Queen Victoria to Meghan Markle, every single royal bride had myrtle sprigs from stems planted at Osborne House on the Isle of Wight by Queen Victoria in 1845 and from a plant grown from the myrtle used in the Queen's wedding bouquet in 1947. That's such a beautiful tradition. Number 2. The Queen picks the tiara worn by the bride in a royal wedding. In the collective mind, tiaras are a more whimsical accessory rather than a historical artifact. Unlike a crown, for instance, the only tiara rules that most people are aware of are 1. You put it on, and 2. You sparkle fabulously. But just like for dinner corgis or dress codes, there are also quite a few rules involving tiaras in the royal family. As we said earlier, tiaras are only to be worn by married women in the royal family, which makes the process of choosing a wedding tiara all the more special. Whether they are blood princesses or marrying into the royal family, it's understood that they get to wear a tiara for the first time on their big day. However, in England, the head of state is able to pick a royal bride's tiara. It is known that Her Majesty denied Meghan Markle's first choice tiara because it was rumored to have come from Russia. It's believed that when Prince Harry learned about this, he flew into a rage. Tiaras can only be worn after 5 p.m. except for weddings. They are loaned to one person for their entire lifetime. It becomes their signature look, if you will. Have you ever noticed that once a royal wears a tiara, no one else wears it afterward? Well, now you know why. Number 3. 6 ravens must live at the Tower of London at all times. Most people think of ill omens when they think of ravens. These mysterious and enigmatic birds have been surrounded by legends and myths for centuries, especially the ones residing at the magnificent Tower of London. It's not known when the ravens first came to the tower, but it's believed that the future of both country and kingdom relies upon their continued residence there. Legend has it that if there aren't exactly 6, not 7 and not 5, but 6 ravens living there, then both the tower and the monarchy will fall. The first royal observatory was installed in the northeastern turret of the White Tower. According to legend, John Flamsteed, a 17th century astronomer and the first astronomer royal, complained to King Charles II that the ravens were interfering with his work. The king, very fond of Flamsteed's work, ordered the destruction of the birds, only to be told that if the ravens left the tower, the White Tower would fall and a horrific disaster would befall upon his kingdom. Naturally, the king changed his mind, and just in case, as a preventative measure, he decreed that at least 6 ravens must be kept at the tower at all times. Today, these are very spoiled ravens. They have a raven master to look after them, and they are checked by expert vets regularly. Before moving on to the next point, I'd like to take a moment to introduce you all to my merchandise. You can support my content by getting your favorite products from my store or by simply joining my channel. Your support means a lot to me. Now, let's get back to the video. Number 4. They must accept every gift gracefully. When you're a royal, gifts are pretty much thrown at you from all sides. But no matter what that gift may be, whether a luxurious car or a chicken, they must always accept the presents the same way, gracefully, graciously, and with class. And even when they are gifted so much, it doesn't really matter because the Queen gets to decide who gets to keep what. Oh, and there's a second catch. According to the British Royal Guidelines, gifts offered by private individuals living in the UK not personally known to the member of the royal family should be refused where there are concerns about the propriety or motives of the donor of the gift itself. For example, when Harry and Meghan got married, a lot of fans sent them gifts, but they had to return all of them, almost $9 million worth of presents. Number 5. The game Monopoly is banned from the royal household. Many families have had many a fight over a game of Monopoly, some more aggressive than others, I'm sure. But not the royals. To avoid any type of dramatic situation, the Queen had banned them from playing Monopoly altogether. To talk about solving a problem by its roots, she claimed the game can get too vicious. I mean, she wasn't wrong. It was Prince Andrew who let this royal secret slip back in 2008 while on a visit to Leeds Building Society's newly refurbished Albion Street headquarters. Before leaving, the Duke of York was presented with a property board game Monopoly as a gift to mark his visit, but unfortunately, he had to politely decline. He simply said, "We are not allowed to play Monopoly at home." And while us peasants can't really relate to much of the royal protocol and lifestyle, this is certainly one rule many of us can understand perfectly well. A dispute in a normal family can usually be settled with a hug and an apology. But how do you think royal families settle their disagreements? That's how wars start. Number 6. Prince Philip was required to walk behind the Queen. Royal protocol is there for a reason, sure, but it can get weird sometimes. Prince Philip was famously required to walk 2 steps behind his wife, Queen Elizabeth II, when they were in public. Now, this is a rule that makes a certain sense. She's the reigning monarch, and he must be walking up front as a sign of respect. In other words, there's a very specific order of preference, as they're called. The royal family is part of a procession. They enter rooms, are seated, and walk in the order of precedence, which is basically the same order as the line of succession to the throne. As you can very well imagine, it would be unthinkable for a prince to walk in front of a queen, and the royal couple were no exception. Queen Elizabeth II sat at the top of the royal family's hierarchy, therefore, she walked in front always. Okay, so far, so good. But what happens when this leads to Prince Philip's head and that of Her Majesty to be on different sides of a theatrical curtain? Well, that is exactly what happened when the couple stood as they listened to the national anthem in Salisbury on June 13, 2017. As you can see, this comical scene really did take place. But the rules are the rules, so the Duke of Edinburgh had to stand there with his face covered until they all sat down again. Number 7. No politics allowed. If you visit the official website of the monarchy, it says right there in black and white, or in this case, blue and white, that as head of state, the Queen has to remain strictly neutral with respect to political matters, unable to vote or stand for election. However, Her Majesty does have important ceremonial and formal roles in the government of the UK. It is not prohibited by law for the monarch to vote in an election, but it is considered unconstitutional. Think about it. Prime ministers change roughly every 5 years if everything goes to plan. And every time there's an election, a prime minister from opposing political parties may be elected. If the reigning monarch was to publicly endorse or criticize one or another, it would create unnecessary chaos. So does this rule apply to every other member of the royal family? Mostly, yes, well, sort of. Meghan and Kate had to stop any political affiliations and activities the day they married into the royal family. And I would say probably, and neither Prince William nor Prince Andrew have ever declared their political preferences. They're not bound by any written law, but they would be heavily criticized if they did so, no matter which side they support. So, that was all for today. I hope you have watched the video up to this timestamp. Make sure to press the like button if it amazed you. Press the subscribe button if you still haven't subscribed to the channel, as it's totally free. You can follow me on all social media platforms. All links are given in the description. You can also watch other cool stuff. The playlist link is also mentioned in the description. I will catch you up soon in the next video. Till then, peace out.